So welcome, Tom. This is our walk-in clinic for counseling and consultation. And for some people, it's a first step to other services within our step care. But for many people, they find that the time we spend together is sufficient. And if not, you're welcome to come back as often as you like. Okay?
Thank you, yeah.
Is this your first time?
Yeah, this is my first time here, so.
Okay. And did you come alone?
Yeah, this is just me.
Okay, all right. And in the time that we're going to be having this conversation, we have about an hour.
Okay.
We might use all the time, we might not. So
Okay.
it really depends on where we find ourselves in the time that we have together, okay?
Yeah.
One thing that I will be doing is that perhaps at different points during our conversation, I might wait to the end, is I'm going to fill out what we call a recording summary. It's a written account of some points that I'd like us to remember about our time together. And I have actually a copy for you as well that you might like to jot down some notes for yourself and take
Okay.
with you.
Oh,
And
thank
we
you.
can compare it at the end as well, okay?
Sure.
And so I'm going to just begin by putting the date. So it's February 20th. 2018, and it's Tom. What's your last name, Tom?
Baker.
Baker, okay. And Tom, something before we get into what brings you here, I think it's really important to talk about our time together is going to be confidential.
Okay,
So
thank
when
you.
you think of that, what does that mean to you?
I guess it's the case, it won't be spread to every other member of the workplace. It's going to kind of be between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably, unless there's some kind of issue that requires bringing it to some kind of authority.
Okay,
I guess.
Okay, all right. Yes, that's right. So what we talk about together will be kept between us, unless
you.
I believe in my experience or my opinion, you're at risk of hurting yourself or someone else, or
Yeah.
you talk about a child under the age of 16 who might be hurt, in which case I'll need to contact anybody I can in order to make sure people are safe.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, all right. So in the time that we have together then, I'm really interested in how you're going to know that this is useful for you.
I guess I was hoping to, I guess in one instance, just make sure I'm not fretting about nothing, like I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill or anything.
Okay.
I guess hopefully just get some advice, really.
Okay, so to make sure that you're not just fretting and making a mountain out of a molehill, and maybe to get some advice.
Yeah.
Okay. And in our conversation, how will you know that this time has been really useful for you? What will be a sign for you?
Hadn't thought about that, really. I guess if I can come out of it thinking I've got direction, maybe?
Okay.
Like
So I'm just going to write that down. So got direction. Okay. And okay. And has that got how is the getting direction connected to the fretting and making a mountain out of a molehill and getting advice?
Well, I guess because some of the things that are worrying me are that perhaps I'm not performing as well as other people expect me to,
Okay.
and possibly how I expect me to.
Okay.
And I suppose in an ideal situation, if I could get some advice on either, well, I guess predominantly the things that are worrying me, whether or not they are as much of a concern as I think they are.
All right.
And then maybe, well, if this is troubling you, you could try this.
Okay.
I know that's a little bit vague, but
Okay. All right. So it sounds like there's things that are worrying you.
oh yeah,
And if there's people in your life who you wonder about whether they think you're working to your capacity, and you're wondering if you're working to your capacity.
Yeah.
And they're connected with these worries. So in order for our time to be really useful for you, and that's really important to me, you're saying you're wanting some direction.
yes, please.
And what difference do you think this direction is going to give you?
I suppose it would give me an idea of, well, I suppose initially where, like, things that I can start changing or doing or not doing or whatever the case may be.
Okay, so direction to start doing Or what was the other piece you said?
I guess like start doing something that I'm not, or stop doing something that I am.
Start doing something? Okay. Or stop doing? Okay. So in discussing discovering this direction of whether you should be stopping doing something or starting to do something, sounds like is a plan a word that would be helpful?
Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. A plan of some kind as to where to go forward.
All right. So in the time we spend together, are you wanting to have a better understanding about what got you here today and at this particular time in your life? Or are you wanting to focus more on the development and the focus on that plan? Or perhaps both?
I mean, a little bit of both is probably good. I think predominantly maybe the where to go.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
If that's okay, of course.
Oh, whatever's going to be okay for you
Okay.
is going to be okay with me.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to focus on the plan. Okay, then. So when I think of you developing a plan, I'm really interested about times when in your life when you've developed a plan and found direction in your life that's been really helpful.
Okay.
So could you tell me about one of those times?
Oh, right. Sorry.
That's okay.
I guess making the plan to move here in the first place was probably
right.
a good one.
Okay.
That, I guess, do you want to know like what I was doing for that? Or?
Well, how did you do that? Did you do it by yourself? Did you talk to other people? Did you research your decision?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I did a lot of research beforehand. I mean,
Okay.
to be fair, moving to another country is kind of a big
Yes, it's a big deal.
A big deal anyway.
Okay.
So yeah,
And where did you
I
move from?
I moved from England.
Okay. All right.
I wanted to make sure that I had a place to work when I got here. There was a place to stay.
Okay.
Amenities.
Okay.
The whole thing of even if you're going on holiday somewhere, you'd want to know where the shops are.
Okay.
Where the post office
Okay.
is, things like that.
Okay.
So I wanted to work out where they are. So I did a lot of research online, speaking to friends
Wow.
in person.
Okay. All right.
I didn't want to be lost and stranded, you know.
Right. So Tom, you sound like you're a very good planner.
Well, I'm not sure I would say that, but thank you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's what's standing out for me is you're considering all the possibilities of what you would need when you came here, and you did research. Did you talk to other people?
A little bit. I didn't have very many people that were here that I could talk to, saying, "Oh, you're over here. Where is the nearest shop?"
Okay.
I was speaking to friends and family, like advice and things like, "What am I forgetting? Do you think there's anything I'll need?" So, it was more on, I suppose, a personal level there, but
Okay.
I did try and speak to people. Yeah.
Okay. And did you come here by yourself?
It's just me. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So it sounds like you've left friends and family back in England.
Yeah.
All right. And how long ago was that?
Oh, that was I'd say about 5-6 years ago.
All right. Okay. So when you think about the plan you're needing right now, I'm curious about how is it that you came today to talk about this with me?
In part because it's been getting at me a lot, and it's starting to affect kind of it's been causing me a lot of stress and anxiety, and it's been
Okay.
I realize it's starting to affect my personal kind of life as well. And also HR suggested maybe
Okay.
that would be a thing, and when HR says something, you kind of have to listen.
All right. Okay. So this is partly what you're believing you're needing, but also there's some other people in your life. It sounds like so that would be human resources, like your place of employment, who are also saying, "Tom, you need to be doing something about this."
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think they expect you to be getting out of this session?
To be honest, it beats me. I guess they're hoping that I'm going to come here and, through whatever happens, be less stressed and anxious and be able to get back to work.
Okay.
They didn't seem to be doing it maliciously, don't get me wrong,
Okay.
but it was more of a gentle nudge in the right direction, I suppose.
Would you agree that it's the right direction?
I certainly hope so, yeah.
All right, okay. I just would like to come back then to how you did such a thorough plan, put a thorough plan in place to come here.
Yeah.
So since you've been here, I'm hearing now that what brings you here is stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay. And those are good words for you? They fit with the experience that you have?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Okay.
Those are the words I've been using. So.
Okay, all right. And have there been times before now when stress and anxiety have been troubling you? Whether back in England or here?
Okay. I mean, yeah, everyone gets stressed now and then, and it was a bit unnerving when I first moved here, because obviously it's a big change. I'm not exactly sure what's kind of where things are. Like I said, I want to make sure I had a job, place to live, and all that. And that wasn't an easy time. But like I ended up getting through it. Like there were some like hostels and things I stayed in for a while before I found a place to rent. Ended up securing a job when I first got here. That was great. Obviously since moved here, which is great.
Sounds like you took your planful abilities that you talked about when you were in England and brought them with you.
I certainly tried.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm hearing. So when did stress and anxiety, did you first notice that it was troubling you more than you would like?
I mean, it's been going on for like a couple of weeks now. It's been affecting my work for a little while. I'd say it's probably in the past week or two that it's been the most detrimental. I've started, my boss has been, boss or supervisor or whatever, they've been asking for like, okay, can you maybe send us a progress report? And it's getting to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I'll send it to you next week, or I'll send it to you in a little while, just because I'm worried that if I show them what I've done now, they're going to think it's not enough.
Ah, okay.
And I guess with a lot of things that they're kind of saying, oh, well, we want evidence of what you've been doing, is kind of starting to put me into panic mode and going, oh, okay, I need to get this sorted.
Okay. Is panic mode worse than stress and anxiety?
I'm not sure if it would be worse per se.
Okay.
It's more, I'm not even sure if I'm panicky. It's just kind of it gets to me, and it's that kind of sudden things need to be done. There are consequences if things aren't done.
Okay.
Who knows what am I going to do?
Okay. Okay. There's something I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah.
You, about 5 or 6 years ago, made a decision to move here. You ended up moving here on your own.
Yeah.
That sounds like it could be a situation that could have lots of stress and anxiety. For some people, I don't know about you, but you managed to plan it out and come here and then manage to settle as well. And yet I'm hearing, you mentioned that, well, everyone has stress. Yeah, I have stress, you have stress.
Yeah.
But it's been in the last couple of weeks when stress and anxiety seem to have gotten to the point where you feel it sounds like you think stress and anxiety is more in charge of your life than you are.
It's starting to feel that way a little bit, to be honest with you.
Okay. Has there been another time in your life when you've had this happening with stress and anxiety?
I guess the only other time I can really think of that comes close would be the time I ended up moving here, but that was something that I could do on my own time. It was a case, I mean, yes, I knew I wanted to move here, but it wasn't you have to do so by this date.
Okay.
And so if I felt I need more time to research, I could give myself more time to research. If I felt I don't know enough information, I could give myself more time to do it.
Okay. Okay.
And I suppose that's the difference between then and now, is that now there's like the more deadlines now, I suppose, and we'd like to see evidence of your progress by this date.
Has this been the first time you've had this occasion in any of your work or school life?
I mean, there's always been deadlines, but I've always felt okay with them.
Okay.
But I guess where it is now, everything just, it feels like it's kind of cascading into more and more.
Okay.
Like the little things start piling up.
Okay. Okay. And so that's what's making it different for you this time? It sounds like time and the feeling that you can't expand the time the way you have in the past, like when you planned to come here.
Well, I mean, I guess so. I haven't really felt like I can ask too many of my colleagues for help as well. So if I'm feeling,
Oh, okay.
I haven't been with the company for very long.
How long have you been there?
Well, we've been there for like, I think this is my 6th month, maybe.
6 months, okay. And prior to this, were you employed elsewhere?
I was employed as well, yeah.
Okay. And do you remember a time during that employment when you were having a similar experience?
I guess maybe. I guess initially this a similar kind of thing. I was new there. I didn't know anybody.
Right.
Obviously, everybody else has either lived here or is been in Canada for most of their lives. I haven't. I'm still learning the cultural things and all that. It was a bit unnerving because I was like, okay, everybody seems to know everybody else.
Okay.
There's like, oh yeah, we could just nip down to this place on this road.
Okay.
And I'm like, I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
I mean, it was a little bit different there because it was a much smaller place, and everybody kind of I was because of how I was working and like the role and stuff. I was interacting with a lot of people all the time, and I ended up it was great. It worked out in the end. It was fine.
Okay.
I guess I'm just seeing a little bit of the occurrence of it here, but because because we've been dealing with like patients and like cases and things, then obviously that's going to be a stressful thing anyway.
Okay.
And then feeling like I'm not quite sure if I'm relatively fitting in with other people.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can ask for help.
Okay.
Which means I don't necessarily get things done.
Okay.
Which means patient cases don't get done.
Okay.
Which means they don't have the information they need.
Okay.
And you can see it kind of everything starts to pile up.
Okay. So is this a different job than what you've done before?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing?
Working as a physiotherapist.
Okay. So I'm hearing you came here about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
By yourself. And was the last job your first employment?
First employment in Canada, yeah.
Okay. And you got to know some people there.
Yeah.
And was that a supportive atmosphere for you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right. But now you've made a change.
Yeah.
About 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And was that because you wanted to make the change?
Yeah, just new opportunity. I was in like retail before, and it was very much a stepping stone. I didn't expect to be there for the entirety of the situation, or rather the entirety of the time. But it was enough to start building the savings to get to know the places.
Okay.
And then something like this came up, and I was like, well, that sounds great.
Okay.
And
all right.
jumped at the opportunity.
Okay. And so you're in a new job as a physiotherapist or in physiotherapy?
In physiotherapy.
Okay. And what exactly do you do then?
I mostly deal with clients, and so I'm not the one that will actually go and do the physiotherapy.
Okay.
I'm more dealing with their case files.
Oh, okay. All right. Some of the office work, administrative work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And is it a job that you want to continue in?
I can certainly see myself here for a number of years. I don't know if it's going to be the only thing I'll do until I retire, but it's definitely something I can see myself doing in the medium to long term.
All right. And do you think stress and worry or stress and anxiety, that was your word, do you think they're connected to what you do at work? Like the actual job itself?
I mean, it can be a stressful environment because you're dealing with people's health.
Right.
And obviously you don't want to mess that up. It's a bit of a no-no. But it's manageable. Well, it's been manageable.
Okay, until recently.
Until recently, yeah.
All right. Outside of work, have you been able to develop relationships that are important to you?
A few.
Okay.
I don't have like a huge group of friends here.
Okay.
I keep in contact with many of the ones back home.
All right.
But I do have some friends here that I see now and then.
All
yeah.
Right. Okay. So have you talked to anybody back home or here about what's going on for you in the last few weeks?
Yeah. I've been speaking to my family, and they've been saying, okay, well, I'm sure you can do it. You've got here before. You can do it again. And
all right.
That's nice and all, and it does help.
All right.
But it's very family support. It's
All right.
they're there caring. It's like, that's nice. Maybe some more kind of directive advice would be necessary,
Okay.
but it doesn't go unappreciated.
No,
Don't get me
I
wrong.
hear you. Yeah. So it sounds like you have some very supportive family.
I'd like to think so, yeah.
But when they're being supportive, do you sometimes wonder if they're getting it? Just how stressed and anxious you might feel sometimes?
I'm sure they can probably relate, because obviously they've worked as well. They've done their own kind of things. Different situations, you know.
Okay, all right. And so I'm just really, something I'm really noticing, and certainly correct me if I'm wrong, okay, is that you've came to this country by yourself, which takes a lot of courage and a lot of planning. That stress and anxiety were there, but you overcame it and managed to get here, got yourself settled, got a job, and now have been in a position to actually change into another job that you like enough that you could see yourself staying for a while.
Yeah.
You've made some friends since you've been here, and you still have contact with people back home.
Yeah.
And yet, something has happened in the last few weeks. Am I on track with the time?
Yeah.
Has it been the last few weeks?
Yeah.
Where stress and anxiety has gotten a lot bigger, enough that you're worried even that, am I making a mountain out of a molehill?
Basically, yeah.
And it sounds like the plans that you've used before, because your planning ability is, I think, sounds really on track, isn't working for you under this situation.
I'm doing the best I can, or at least the
Okay.
best I think I can.
Okay.
I guess it isn't quite the same, and
So what am I missing? What has happened more recently that made this situation different than the others? I hear that time was an element.
yeah. I suppose it might just be like the presence of a lot more pressing deadlines.
Okay.
I don't know if that's for certain, but like I said, last job working in retail, you've got simple things to do.
Okay.
It isn't you need to have this done by this date, or
Okay.
or somebody doesn't get the consult they need. And when I was first coming here, it was a case of I didn't have to be here by a specific time. It was more a case of I guess I could do it more at my leisure, if leisure is even the right word to
Okay.
use.
Sounds like you've felt that you thought you had more flexibility.
I suppose so, yeah.
Would that be a good way of explaining it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay. So, Tom, there's something that's going on in your workplace. And let me ask you this. The stress and anxiety, do you experience it anywhere else in your life?
Not really, no.
Okay, so it's very work specific.
Yeah.
Enough that your bosses or your people at work have noticed and they've gotten HR involved who's recommended that you come and talk to someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's been starting to affect the kind of personal life. Like
Okay.
I've been stressed, but it's a very case of it's more of a bleed into rather
Okay.
than it's
Okay.
there.
All right.
When it started getting to that point, that was when I was thinking this is probably something I
Okay.
should deal with.
Wow, you've got a lot of wisdom about yourself.
I'm not sure if I go that far, but thank you.
No, well, is that maybe over the top, maybe, but that's what I think. When I listen to your own insights about yourself and that you're realizing now's a good time and you're realizing that time is an element here, I have a wondering, though, about the people at work. Is there something that comes between you and the people at work in asking them about time and how much pressure and how much the deadlines need to be met and what their experience is of you working with you? That was a few questions all packed in there together.
That's all right.
Have you actually talked to the people at work about about the concerns you have about anxiety and stress?
To a degree.
Okay.
It's difficult. I don't have as much interaction with my colleagues now as I did back along, which I think is why I felt, when I was working in retail, it was you're dealing with customers or you're dealing with colleagues
Okay.
on a very, very personal basis.
Okay.
This is a little bit less so because it's office, it's managerial.
Okay.
You can be, here's a stack of paperwork, see you at 5.
So it sounds like you're more isolated.
I mean, I still have the opportunity to speak with people, but I
Okay.
guess, I think honestly a lot of it's kind of self-imposed.
How's that?
Well, like originally, when I first came here, I didn't know any of the colleagues, so it was a little bit nervous meeting people or
Right.
introducing people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody seemed to know everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. It's a relatively small community.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, yeah, if I'm in an office, I'm dealing with a set of work that's been given to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of got to the stage where I was kind of feeling a bit nervous to speak with people in case because I hadn't spoken with them a great deal, so I wasn't sure if it would be awkward if I suddenly started speaking with them.
Ah, okay.
And then that awkwardness made me not really want to speak with them too much, because
Okay.
that was making me nervous. Not speaking with them made it so that I wasn't getting as much work done because I didn't have as much help. And it kind of started to
Oh,
spiral,
wow. Okay.
I think.
That sounds like a pretty important observation about yourself. Had you thought of it that way before?
I had not, actually, no. And now that you've pointed that out,
Well, you pointed it out. I'm just...
no, I hadn't thought about it that way before, actually.
Okay.
I guess I've always just seen it as I need to get the work done, and I'm not, but...
Okay. And you hadn't tied it into the relationships you had with people at work, or didn't have?
Not directly, I suppose, no.
Okay. Do you think there could be a connection then between how you've become, it almost sounds like, disconnected from people at work? Is
Yeah.
that, and your work itself?
That's probably not a bad way of putting it, actually. It never occurred to me that it would be like that kind of way.
Your connections with people sound very important to you. Your previous job, you were dealing with the public, you were dealing with colleagues.
Yeah.
You knew you had people, you talked, you chatted people up, you had relationships with people, so you knew you had support there. And it sounds like you also might have developed confidence that they knew what you were able to do,
Yeah.
and that you were there in a pinch and that you could do the job.
Yeah.
At this job, I'm hearing that you've somehow it's gone it's gone different. It's sounding disconnected from the people you're working with.
Yeah. It's... I guess because there isn't as much, like... Not, like, forced communication, because obviously nothing is forced upon you, but it's...
No.
Like, in retail, you're dealing face-to-face with either customers
Yeah.
or you're dealing with clients in meetings, or not, colleagues in meetings, sorry. And it's all very... You have to speak with person to do thing.
Right.
Whereas, I suppose, where I'm doing case studies here and files, I don't need to speak to people to get them done.
Okay.
It's just a lot of processing.
Okay.
And I suppose, I suppose because I don't need to speak with people, I haven't been speaking with people.
And in not speaking to people, what's ended up happening for you?
I guess I've ended up... It's become more difficult to suddenly start speaking with people. And
Right.
because I'm not speaking with people, I'm not getting the help I require.
Oh.
This is starting to make sense now.
Okay. Well, help me out. What is starting to make sense for you?
Well, I guess because I was worried, oh, well, I'm not getting my cases done. There's a lot of backlog.
Uh-huh.
I've been putting off progress reports, as I said, and all that. And I was like, I guess I was more caught up in the worrying and the fretting.
Uh-huh.
And it was more all these thoughts of racing around. I haven't had a chance to kind of coalesce them and think about them.
Right.
And now that I've had a chance to sit down and coalesce and think about them, it's been a case of, okay, well, I'm not speaking with people enough, which, I mean, I already knew, but
Right.
I didn't, for some reason, click that I'm not speaking with people, so I'm not asking for their advice and help. And because I'm not doing that, it's taking me longer to do it because I'm struggling to do things on my own.
Okay.
See, when you say it like that, it sounds so simple, really, doesn't it?
I don't know about simple,
Well, well, yeah.
but I certainly think it sounds like something that makes sense. And
Yeah.
it sounds like an explanation that's working for you and a description of what's occurred.
Yeah.
Okay, so given that, and I want to make sure this time is worthwhile for you, do you think we're on track with where you wanted to head in terms of
goodness,
finding a direction? Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you've sort of made this discovery, what do you think could be the first step for your plan?
I think the first step would probably be making sure I can interact with some of my other colleagues. It's difficult and it's awkward because I haven't interacted with them for a while.
Okay.
But if I can put that difficulty and awkwardness aside, then I can speak with them. Even if it's just getting to know them, how's your day been? You know, like office chit chat.
Okay.
That's going to break the ice, I suppose.
Okay. All right.
And then from there, it's going to be less awkward to speak with them.
Okay. Let's start with that, the breaking the ice part. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Where could you do that in your workday? Is there a time of day when that would be possible?
I guess during like lunch. Yeah, I guess during like lunch break, I can see if people are around. Just ask if I can like sit with them.
Okay. Is there one person in particular who you could maybe start with?
Probably there's people in offices next to me. I guess I can start close to home, if you will.
Okay. Like, has there been a person who maybe said hi to you in the beginning, or has seemed somebody who you think could be approachable?
I suppose I can speak to, oh gosh, what was her name? Karen.
Okay, Karen.
She gave me my original orientation when I came here.
Okay.
Showed me around. Here's where the offices are. Here's where the lunchroom is.
Okay.
So yeah, I suppose I can try and speak with her.
Okay. And in speaking to Karen, what's something that you would want to say to her? How do you think it started off? So you're going from not talking to her at all, right, for a while?
Pretty much.
To now trying to start talking to her again.
Yeah.
So how would you open that up?
Oh God, well, that's $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess I could start with like just maybe just idle pleasantries, or like them working. Oh, how's things been? Ask about the weather.
Okay.
Blinking it changes, or is that what people say? Or
Yeah.
I'm still learning. So.
Yeah, that's okay. And one thing I do wonder about, and this might not fit for you, so you need to let me know, okay, is that I know in my life, if I've been working in an office with somebody and I've never really talked to them for a while, I've actually even once said, I know I haven't talked to anybody for a while, and I've just been kind of working some things out, but I'm wanting to get a chance to get to know some people in the office a bit more, and I don't know if that kind of idea would work for you.
I don't see it not working. It isn't like you're kind of walking up to somebody and saying, "Tell me everything about you."
Yeah.
It's you're. Yeah, it makes sense. It applies, to be honest. Yeah, haven't talked to people, been working things out, would like to get to know people. So those are the three things I want to do. So,
and you're telling me that in your past, that you have friends and family back in the UK.
Yeah.
You made friends here. You still have those relationships.
Yeah.
So you are capable and able to have people around you who like you, who know you, who enjoy being with you.
I'd certainly hope so, yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So suggests to me that you're approachable and likable, but something at work happened to stop that part of you coming out during the work time.
I suppose so, yeah.
And it sounds like as a result, you've ended up pulling away, and so when you've needed help, you didn't know who to go to, and just the pressure of the work has become very isolating. Sounds like you've been very alone.
Yeah, that's actually not too bad a way of putting it.
So this is a plan you're making to start changing that at work, and starting to develop those relationships that will make it easier for you to ask for help and to maybe even negotiate deadlines.
Yeah. It certainly wouldn't hurt, I suppose, yeah. Even if it's just, hey, can I have an extra day to work on this?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to say, can you give me 3 months extra?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is going to be, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. It sounds like you're quite realistic about the time that you can ask for and work. And it sounds like your employment history suggests that you've been good at what you've done.
I try.
Okay. So when you think about what you originally wanted to come for, which was to get direction, to start doing something or to stop doing something, that would be your plan. Do you think you're closer to that goal or that idea than when you came here?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. I mean,
Okay.
I have a bit, as you said, I have a bit of direction. Start trying to initiate conversation with people, even if it's just pleasantries and breaking the ice.
All right.
Just to get rid of that initial awkwardness of not having spoken with them.
Okay.
And things to start doing, well, start, getting out there a bit, speaking to people.
Yes. Okay.
Stop deliberately isolating, well,
Okay.
not deliberately isolating myself, but keeping myself more isolated
All
than I
right.
could be.
And when you think about your time that we've had together, and when you look back on this time, what do you think you're going to remember the most?
This is probably going to sound really weird, so forgive me, but it's like, it's very much like, because I came into this thinking, okay, maybe I'll be told what I need to do or whatever, and it's almost like you kind of help my thinking go into the way that I ended up coming with the ideas, and that's no detriment to you, of course. Don't worry about that. It's more,
Yeah.
okay, well, you helped me think that this is actually what I need to do, and I'm not gonna lie, it feels nice to go, I thought of a way to do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's probably the thing I'm going to take from this, is
Okay.
that it was helpful to not necessarily say, okay, you're going to do this, this, and this. It
Right.
was we ended up coming up with an idea, and kind of it was very much, well, now that we think about it this way, that makes sense.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So would this be a good time then for us to kind of go over the sheet together?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to give you yours. I'm not sure what you're going to be able to write it on, but let's see if you want to write it on your leg there. So you'll notice it says that who attended the meeting, Tom Baker. And I wrote down what was the initial agreed upon focus, was to get directions to start doing something or to stop doing something, to have a plan.
Yeah.
Okay? And that ended up being the focus of the meeting, so I wouldn't put down anything different there. So the brief description of the concern is, what would you say? So what was it, about 6 weeks, 6 months, how long ago was it that it started? Anxiety was anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those,
Okay.
like, yeah, it'd be the last 4 to 6 weeks, the last 2.
Last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. And it kind of, the last 2 have been the worst, and that.
Okay, last 2 the worst. The worst. And where is it? It's at work.
Yeah.
Okay. And it sounds like it's primarily with deadlines, as I understood you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair.
Okay. And we talked about a number of occasions in your life when this kind of concern or problem is less. So it'd be things like you were able to plan to come here. So you made a plan to move here. Made friends. Any of these could be times of stress and anxiety. And stay in touch with family. Okay. What else do you think I should write down about when this happens less? Was there other times you mentioned? Your previous job?
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounded like you were well connected with the people you hung out with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Okay.
I had to deal with them daily, so if I wasn't well connected, it was going to be a little bit of an issue.
Okay.
Though I say that's
Okay.
yeah, that's how it is now.
So there's a line here, other important issues that were noted. Anything that stands out for you?
I guess I didn't quite realize just how kind of like purposefully or not, how much I was isolating myself.
Okay. How much I was isolating myself. That's a really important reflection about yourself. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And so your suggestions for yourself are what? You got a plan. Your first step is what?
I suppose first step is to talk with people, or to start trying to talk with people, even if it's just a little bit now and then, just so I don't feel as awkward speaking with them.
And you
in the
mentioned
future.
someone in particular.
Karen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start with Karen. Okay. And anything else that you think you would want to be starting with?
In what kind of regards?
To make your plan move forward. So you're going to start with Karen.
Yeah.
And in talking with Karen, if I understood you, your belief is that when you start making more connections, you'll be better able to talk about any questions you have about work,
Yeah.
and any deadlines, and see what opportunities there are to negotiate.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's the next step, is talk to Karen.
Okay.
Now, do you think this, I wonder about from this session, from our conversation, that you might share with your friends and family, that you would want them to know about our time together?
I mean, I suppose it could. I mean, this might be a silly question, but like, whereas obviously this is going to be like there's confidentiality involved. Is this something that I am allowed to talk about?
You
or?
could talk about anything you want. It's your life.
Okay.
It's your conversation. I'm the one who is limited to share that.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't, crossing boundaries or anything. But okay.
The limitations are on me,
Oh, okay.
not on you.
I wanted to make sure that I
Yes.
wasn't.
Yes. So what do
Okay.
you think you'd want to tell them about what stood out for you from our time together?
I mean, I'll mention I came to see. I mentioned I came to see you to start with, and then I suppose, yeah, in the same way that the thing I would take out from the session would be that we like, it almost ended up that you helped the words come out of my mouth, if you will. I guess that kind of thing.
Okay, because you created the idea.
You helped.
Well, thank you. But it was your idea.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds great. So you might want to think about that and
Yeah.
yeah. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. So I think this is a plan that we've written up together, and so I'm going to sign it, and then you can sign it,
Okay.
and we could either. There we go. Thank you. And you can write out from your copy whatever you would like when we're done.
Excellent.
All right. So thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay.